In 1956, a car was born that would change everything. Its name was the Aston Martin DBR1. While other manufacturers played it safe, Aston Martin dared to build something the world had never seen. One look at the Aston Martin DBR1 and you understood. This was not just a car. This was a statement. Sit inside a Aston Martin DBR1 and the outside world disappears. Only the road matters. A 2.5L straight-six engine, 250 horsepower, and a body that made grown men stop and stare. Stirling Moss and Roy Salvadori. Le Mans 1959, the greatest British motor racing victory. This is the story of the Aston Martin DBR1, one of the greatest automobiles ever built. Welcome to the world of the Aston Martin DBR1, a world where every detail tells a story. The story begins in England, where Aston Martin had a dream that others called impossible. The engineers who designed the Aston Martin DBR1 were obsessed with one thing: perfection. The Aston Martin DBR1 was not designed by committee. It was designed by people who loved driving. Under the skin, the Aston Martin DBR1 was revolutionary. The 2.5L straight-six engine changed everything. When the Aston Martin DBR1 debuted at the motor show, the crowd fell silent. Then they erupted. The first production Aston Martin DBR1s rolled off the line in 1956, each one built by hand. Journalists who drove the Aston Martin DBR1 for the first time wrote the same thing: this car is alive. The Aston Martin factory worked around the clock. The world was waiting for the Aston Martin DBR1. Every curve of the Aston Martin DBR1 was calculated, not guessed. The result was automotive poetry. On the road, the Aston Martin DBR1 was untouchable. Nothing at this price could keep up. The Aston Martin DBR1 attracted the world's most discerning drivers. They knew what they were looking at. Racing drivers tested the Aston Martin DBR1 and reported back, "This is a weapon disguised as a road car." The Aston Martin DBR1 competed against the Ferrari 250 TR. The rivalry defined an era. Hollywood discovered the Aston Martin DBR1. Film stars lined up. The waiting list stretched for years. Motoring journalists called the Aston Martin DBR1 a benchmark. Car and driver said it set the standard. The Aston Martin DBR1 appeared in films, on television, in fashion shoots. It became a cultural symbol. At Le Mans, the Aston Martin DBR1 proved itself in competition. The results were extraordinary. The Le Mans winner 1959 with Stirling Moss. A moment that defined the Aston Martin DBR1's legend forever. Buyers waited months, sometimes years. The Aston Martin factory could not build Aston Martin DBR1s fast enough. In British Racing Green or British Racing Green, the Aston Martin DBR1 was magnificent. Every color suited this body perfectly. The racing aluminum interior, the analog instruments, the perfect driving position. Under the hood, a 2.5L straight-six producing 250 horsepower. In 1956, that number was extraordinary. The engineers at Aston Martin chose every component with care. Nothing was there by accident. The Aston Martin DBR1 weighed just 840 kilograms. Light, agile, and alive in a way heavier cars never are. Top speed, 165 miles per hour. In 1956, only a handful of cars on Earth could match that. The aluminum body was hand-formed by craftsmen who had spent decades learning their art. When production ended, the world mourned. There would never be another Aston Martin DBR1 like this. The Aston Martin DBR1 became the car every serious collector wanted. Prices started climbing immediately. In the 1980s, collectors rediscovered the Aston Martin DBR1. Values climbed and never stopped. At auction, a perfect Aston Martin DBR1 in original condition commands over $20 million. And climbing. The Aston Martin Museum in Newport Pagnell displays the complete Aston Martin DBR1 lineage. Every model, every story. At Pebble Beach, a Aston Martin DBR1 on the lawn stops time. People stand in silence, just looking. The serious collectors keep them original. Matching numbers, original paint, uncompromised. Only 5 Aston Martin DBR1s were ever built. Each surviving example is a piece of history. Today, the Aston Martin DBR1 is recognized as one of the great automotive achievements of the 1950s. Somewhere right now, a Aston Martin DBR1 is being driven. Not displayed, not preserved, driven. The Aston Martin DBR1, born in 1956. Still the benchmark. Still the dream. Still alive.